I've seen it all. I've seen people with no education qualify. I've seen people with PhD level education qualify.
What they would have to do in order to actually be rejected by Canada?
You can do a lot to be rejected. Number one thing, if you're untruthful in any of your documents.
Your opinion, how will the program be looking like in 5 or 10 years from now?
That is a scary outlook.
Yeah.
I can't really even tell you how it's going to look like 6 months from now. And because of that, for everyone on this call, apply early.
Are there any restricted nationality for the Canada?
There are no restricted nationality. You actually qualify for citizenship with this program.
Welcome in the PL Podcast. With me today is Slava Apel, specialist in the startup visa services. Welcome. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Glad to be back in the new facilities. They look great.
Amazing. Yes, in our new office, in fact. Maybe we'll have a little tour afterwards as well. Welcome to everybody out there listening. Today, we will learn a lot about the startup visa in Canada and everything that comes with it. Maybe to start with, you can give us a little basic overview for the newcomers that are listening today.
Sure. For those that haven't heard about Startup Visa, it is a direct path to permanent residency in Canada through establishment of brand new business that is innovative. Our team helps you to make sure that it qualifies for such status. It is one of the best programs out there, and the reason why I say that, it is a direct path to permanent residency. It allows the entire family to move, husband, wife, and kids, with kids under the age of 22 that are dependent still on their parents. And because it is a direct path for permanent residency, you can be quickly in Canada waiting for your permanent residency, or you could be outside of Canada, continue working on your business, continue working, doing whatever you're doing until you get the permission to enter Canada as a permanent resident. It is a very highly regarded program because of very high approval rates. Historically, in the last 10 years, out of those people that received first business approval and then moved on to ask for permanent residency, over 80% of those people received their permanent residency. And because of that, people like the program for its high odds and also high success ratio.
Amazing. Give us a little bit of details regarding the criteria, the timelines, and then based on that, the outcome, please.
Criteria is, I would say, pretty light. Too light, actually, in my liking. Because in order for someone to qualify, they need to pass their criminality, medical. They have to make sure that they speak English or French on a scale 5 out of 10. So 5 on IELTS level, which is very, very basic English that they need. And very minor, even, amount of money in their bank account. Think of it around $20,000 for a family of 4. So that's called settlement dollars. Outside of those funds, any business funds, that's just extra. And because of that, many people qualify because you don't need to show that much money in your account in order for you to qualify. When it comes to business qualifications, our team will help you to define it as an innovative business that the client can bring to Canada. We will help them with the business planning, projections, competitive analysis. We'll help them with all of the hiring plans, will help them with all the industry research, everything to define their business as that innovative business. So for those of you that are thinking, is my business qualifying or not? It is our job to make sure that your business qualifies for that position. Next thing is timing. Timing varies based on where you apply. And let's say where different jurisdictions take faster or slower to approve clients for their work permits or even for their permanent residency. Anecdotally, I would say my last 20 clients from Nigeria got approved for their work permit in about 2 months, yet similar type of client base from Dubai, where we are in today, because it gets processed in a different center, got approved for 8 months. So just depending on where clients are applying from, timing for the work permit will vary. When it comes to permanent residency, it is what's considered against other programs around the world a very fast process. On the government of Canada, it says it can take up to 40 months for full permanent residency approval. However, historically, in the last decade that I have been in this program, most of my clients received it in around 16 months. Again, it does differ based on do you apply through one organization or another, and I'll explain that shortly. One of the future questions about how does this program work, it is who is authorizing that business to be getting that letter of approval, called letter of support. And depending through each one of those organizations you're going to be applying, you may be viewed as a priority case or a regular case. Most of the cases that we handle are priority cases because we want clients to be coming to Canada that much faster.
Understood. Amazing. What can an applicant generally do to make that application stronger? You mentioned that most of the visas related matters where you help and handle practically. But what can an applicant and their family members do in order to bring a strong case to the table?
Well, we train the applicants. We make sure that they are ready for their 5-minute quick business interview. We train the applicants to make sure that they're properly representing what is in their CV, in their resume. What can they bring? If they have higher education, great. If they don't, this program, after 5 years in a pilot stage, they remove educational component. So if someone made their money without finishing their university, they still qualify.
Okay.
But if they have certificates, if they have the university education, we will highlight it. If they have any additional courses, we will highlight it. If they have any additional awards, we'll highlight it. What else can they bring? If they have that innovative business that they're already working in, we just need to Canadianize it.
Okay.
Meaning, if it's not specific to that particular country, then we can actually expand it into Canada. If they don't have a business, they just have a business idea. It's like, hey, I've been traveling through Korea or through China or through Japan, and I found something that I liked and I want to bring it to Canada, that still qualifies. So it doesn't even need to be their idea. They can bring something that innovative to Canada. If they're working in a company that wants to expand their offerings to Canada, that will also work. So they could be working at a manufacturing facility or machine making company, and that machine is not available in Canada yet. Again, that could be bringing it. Or it could be someone that says, you know what, I've always wanted to be in a startup. I always wanted to participate in a high growth environment. I don't even have an idea of my own. However, I'm a good lawyer. I'm a good accountant. I am a good team member, or I'm a good manager. They could be a contributor into somebody else's business that already has that innovative idea. So whether you have that innovative idea or you want to be part of somebody else's innovative business, both would be able to qualify.
Understood. Is there a minimum turnover that business needs to generate once it's fully set up?
So unlike in other countries, for example, when UK had their startup visa, in many other countries, over 20 countries around the world have startup visa programs, except all of those require what you just asked for, which is minimal income, minimum turnover that has to come to their company, or minimum performance of the company. Canada's program does not require that at all.
Okay.
You could be for the next 2-3 years in a stealth mode. You could be in the next 3 to 5 years into research and development, trying to deploy the product to the market mode. You could be making $0 or you can be making hundreds of millions of dollars. Both get treated the exact same way. As long as the business structure is properly set up, as long as your projections are truthful in what the company could be doing. Because frankly, most companies don't make money in the first 2-3 years, and Government of Canada accepts that.
Understood. Perfect. Thank you very much. When it comes to a pitfall or an example where you had where an applicant was really not being pushed through, I understand you have a lot of experience and a very high approval rate. But can you give us an example for our viewers to learn of how or what they would have to do in order to actually be rejected by Canada?
So I would say you can do a lot to be rejected. Number one thing, if you're untruthful in any of your documents, I see that as the number one reason, meaning if you lie on your documentation. I have seen doctored bank statements that even I could see. You can see that's been Photoshopped. So things like that don't work. And you don't need to do that, considering that Government of Canada is only requested for very minimal funds in your account just for you to live on, because they expect you to start making money in the future from your business. Other things, if you set it and forget it, meaning if you don't do anything about that business. We've seen cases, not ours, where a lady claimed that for 2 years in her company, she only worked on her logo and nothing else. No client outreach, no building out of her website, no social media, nothing that would promote the business or to grow it. So of course, cases like that, they look too suspicious, and because of that, they would get rejected. But even if the case gets rejected in Canada, we have a very, very good appeal process. If you feel that the Government of Canada rejected it for no good reason, you can appeal it and say, well, the officer didn't read my resume properly, or he didn't see on a page 44 of my business plan what my goal is going to be. In some cases, clients cannot even start their business until they land in Canada. I was bringing a recycling company to Canada, and You cannot start that business until you get full permanent residency because you need to get your facilities, you need to buy your machinery. So in their case, you're not physically doing anything to promote the business. You're not physically growing the business until you actually land in Canada. However, if you're running a consulting business, you better start working early on that business.
Understood. Very good. Now, when we compare the Canada program a little bit to other programs in the market, such as Portugal, Greece, let's take the UK and the US into that as well. Where would you say, or why would you say that Canada stands out?
So number one, and it's probably on everyone's mind, it's the price. It costs way less. And also ability for you to start making a lot of money from the program. In Greece, in Portugal, you are relying on other people, on property or on a fund in order for them to be making you money. In Startup Visa, your company will be making your money, so it is all up to your effort. If you want to freeze the company and not do anything, you're not going to get return on that investment. If you're going to act according to the marketing plan, according to the business plan, you stand to be making money. Outside of that, it is a direct to permanent residency program. In many other countries, in many other offers, you have to earn that by your presence. You have to earn that by your investment. You have to earn that by waiting a very long time. So I believe Canada's program, it is faster, it is much more affordable, and it doesn't have the drawbacks of other countries where you have to wait until something gets built or until you invest into, over $500,000, let's say in a Portuguese fund. You don't have to be participating in EB5 World over $800,000 into their program and a lot of qualifications. I found also it's a lot easier to qualify. In many cases, we get people that at first applied to Portugal or to US or to Caribbean country, and they got rejected because the source of funds was not clear or not enough money in their bank account. And yet again, the only thing that we need to prove here is close to 20,000 American dollars in their bank account, which almost everyone listening to this should be able to qualify for.
Understood. Guide us through the process for the Canada Startup Visa program. The client comes to us, wants to have more information. Of course, we arrange for a call with Slava and team. Where do we take it from there?
Sure. The first three things we ask for the client is for KYC. Know your client, we ask for your resume, we ask for your passport, and we ask for at least 1 or 2 months of your bank statements. This is just so we understand what is that scenario. Based on your resume, we already can understand what businesses candidate could be doing. After that, we'll arrange a Zoom call. It's not a sales call. It is not a qualification call. It is truly a call to describe what the program can do for you based on your goals. What part of Canada would you like to move to, considering this is a federal program in Canada? What is your budget? What is that you want to be doing in Canada? So in our call, you're going to get a lot of details that is truly not available on internet. Government of Canada's website on Startup Visa has only, I would say, a little bit of information. We're going to go through half an hour to 45 minutes to going into in-depth on every step. How long does it take for your business to get approved? How long does it take for your permanent residency to be approved? What do we do with your dependents? What do we do with your spouses? What if your kids want to go to university? What if you want to buy property there? So we go through all the questions and answers. And the best part is, it is a free meeting. So this way you, your spouse could be on that call together, asking the right questions in order for you to be comfortable with the program.
Understood. Now, when it comes to the perfect applicant or the people that wish to apply for the program, you see an kind of an algorithm there where you have a specific profile, or those singles or those families to people generally, send the family there while the husband then stays in the country where they conduct business. Maybe you can give us a little bit more information when it comes to that.
Sure. Consider I've been doing this for a long time and done over, hundreds and hundreds of cases. I've seen it all. I've seen people with no education qualify. I've seen people with PhD level education qualify. I've seen 18-year-olds while they're still in school qualify. And I've seen, I think the top we have right now, an 82-year-old that still qualify for this program. So it doesn't matter what your age is, what your education is. Lots of great opportunities come directly from schools. So when it comes to their positions, I've seen people working in oil fields. I have seen people that are dentists. I have seen bankers and accountants. I have seen engineers, absolutely every profession. I have seen farmers. We've done a lot of farming projects as well. So in reality, there is no specific profile. Most people, when they think and hear the word startup, they are thinking it is an IT, internet technology business. But in reality, we only get a few of those. Most people we are seeing, they're more into engineering, we are seeing into manufacturing, we're seeing into services, we're seeing professionals wanting to open up and move on to Canada with their entire families. We have had a lot of cases where husband and wife and kids come to Canada. Husband goes back to their original country of origin because that's where the core business is, and they're traveling back and forth. And with that travel back and forth, they're still qualifying for permanent residency and later on citizenship in Canada. This is one of the biggest advantages of the program. It is not just to permanent residency. If you spend 3 out of 5 years, any 3 out of any 5 years in Canada, you actually qualify for citizenship with this program.
Understood. So that means that an applicant and the family as well, anybody involved, needs to be at least 3 years in Canada out of the 5 years during the permanent residency status in order to get approved for citizenship.
Right. And if you don't make up enough days, roll over to the next 5 years, or you can pick somewhere in the middle. So there is a lot of timings you could be playing with in order for you to figure out what are the 3 years. And again, it doesn't have to be in a row. It doesn't have to be consecutive. You can fly in and out.
Understood. Small personal question maybe. How did you get involved in that field? What made you choose that specific industry?
Well, I'm very passionate about entrepreneurialism. I had a lot of my own companies. I've had them in software business, in training businesses. I've had them in educational businesses. So I have built and sold companies in the past. Throughout that career, I've been mentoring a lot of people. I worked in 8 different incubators. I teach at city halls. I teach at universities on how to grow your business, how to market it, the technological aspect behind it. So when the government of Canada in 2013 opened up this new field of, instead of just mentoring and helping businesses thrive and commercialize their offerings, now there is an added bonus of gaining permanent residency. That's where our of course, enjoyed it even more. I was doing exactly what I was doing for the last 20 years, helping businesses, but now by helping them, I also help them gain Canada's permanent residency.
Understood. Is there a success story that you can share? Someone that was like truly happy?
I would say I will use a general, most known example in Canada of the most successful case at first, and then we're going to go into some other ones. The most successful case is 3 brothers from Iran came to Canada and opened up a small startup. It's a platform that helps students get to universities, picking the right universities. As of today, that company called Apply Board, you can Google for it, you can find it, is now worth over $4 billion and it employs over 2,000 people. So that's the most known Canadian success story. Now, mind you that over 80% of the startups don't end up doing anything. They fail, they close, which is still okay. If the startup closes, you still get to keep your permanent residency. Okay. So even if your startup does not get off the ground, you are still permanent resident in Canada. Okay. Now, outside of that huge success stories, I have had clients launch dental appliances. I have launched clients getting into 3D printing services, doing very good with that. I have had a gentleman from Russia about 5 years ago applying, and he was bringing a bolt-on device on a truck that is like a cherry picker. Yeah. And he had a few of them in Russia. It wasn't his invention. It was actually a Korean invention that he has brought to Canada. And through that, he launched his business. I have had hairdressers coming up with better hairbrushes. I have had, there's so many success stories. I have had people working in oil fields coming up with better ways to measure the quality of oil or purity. So there is really no limit of what people can be bringing to Canada. And if you don't know, again, for those people listening to this, if you don't know if your idea is good enough, that planning meeting with us is free. We will get to together figure out whether it qualifies or not, and probably it will. If you think it is innovative, we just have to prove the rest of it to government that yes, it is something that is needed here in Canada.
And I think that's now important to mention. You do not need to be currently an entrepreneur in order to apply for this program. Slava and his team will help you with that idea and make it entrepreneurial and successful.
Yeah, many of the clients that are applying to us, they're first-time entrepreneurs. Yeah. So we are very happy when we get someone, hey, you have a great previous business experience. We get excited about that because we're just speaking at a different language. Yeah. But when someone is a first-time entrepreneur, I also like it a lot because they're moldable. We can figure out together with them what is the right direction for the company instead of trying to pivot something that may not have worked in the past.
Understood. You mentioned before Iranians. Now, Iran is usually a nationality that is not really accepted by a lot of the other programs in the residence and citizenship by investment industry. Are there any restricted nationality for the Canada?
There are no restricted nationalities. I have processed Belarus and Russia and Ukraine and Iran, every country. The only thing, the person cannot be politically exposed. The only thing that they cannot be a recent criminal. If they've done something in the past 10 years ago, that is forgivable. But if it's something very, very recent, they can. They cannot be on a sanction list. Outside of that, I would say in the last 2 years, when we look at Canada's starter visa program, business program in Canada, close to 30% of all of the approved applicants were from Iran.
Okay.
So previous years, it was dominated by Vietnam. We have a lot of people coming from Nigeria. So people are coming from all over the world, except as the end of the last year, we had a big, big change in our demographic. Prior to the elections in US, only about 5% of our clients were migrating from US to Canada. When the elections happened and the new president, Donald Trump, was elected, close to 50% of all of our clients now are coming from America. So Americans are running to Canada, they're opening up businesses in Canada, they're expanding their businesses in Canada. So we are getting right now a lot of Americans figuring out that Canada has better business tax incentives, that Canada has great workforce, that we have much better healthcare and many other ways for wealth preservation, especially for the high net worth Americans, because we don't have gift tax, we don't have inheritance tax, we don't have a lot of those taxes that Americans have, and mainly we are not taxing on a worldwide income the way that Americans do. So if you end up making your money in Dubai, great. If it's tax-free here in Dubai, you get to later on bring that money back with you to Canada and you're not being double taxed.
Understood. Now, registering the business is just one part of the process, right? The people that come, they generally, if they have children, they need to go to school, they need to have a home, they need to file taxes. Do you help with all of this, or how do you?
Yes. We provide a lot of guidance. So one thing is about business commercialization, but then what area do you move to? What schools should your kids be going to? And mainly at what point should you be applying for your kids for the higher education? For people that have sent their kids to school in Canada, that are remote, that don't have their permanent residency, they will know that Canada is not cheap when it comes to international students being educated. For example, in Canadian dollars, it costs about $200,000 for a child to become an engineer. However, if their parents are now applying through the starter visa programs, so that through the starter visa program, their kids could start being counted as domestic students in most of the universities. So instead of it costing 200,000 Canadian, now it just costs 47,000. You get over $150,000 in savings per child when your kids are domestic students. Now we had also people asking us, where do I buy my home? At what point do I buy my home? Who should I be banking with? So we make all those connections. We'll give you a choice of accountants. We'll give you a choice of lawyers. We'll give you a choice of real estate agents. There is no one particular one that we are working with. We are matchmaking it based on your needs. For example, we were just speaking about an Iranian demographic. We have an accountant that specializes in builders, meaning people that are putting up buildings that are Iranian and bringing their networks from Iran to Canada. So that is his specialty. He's chartered accountant in Canada, and he has done it for a lot of high net worth Iranians. So if that is something that you need, we'll set you up with that particular accountant. In most cases, we're choosing bigger firms that are known that you can check them online.
Understood. That means or let's just call it bank account opening, tax filing, everything related to that, you and your team will help if someone comes new to the country.
Because they don't know how the country operates. Like when I went to Vietnam and I looked at their business structure, it was all new to me. When I went to Singapore, when I went to China, when I travel, every country has its nuances. So you need a guide, you need a Sherpa, you need a coach. We are that, and it's all included in the price. So you're not paying extra for any of those things. So when you land here with us, We have free lending services of helping you open up and establish a business, but we also have post-lending services to make sure you're well established afterwards on best possible terms.
Understood. Now, when it comes to Canada, I believe it's a very welcoming society, mainly because you have so many different nationalities that come to the country at the moment, right? Would you say that there is something for everybody practically when it comes to restaurant, when it comes to education, when you have the children, languages, right, that are being spoken? I believe it's a very international country. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about.
So unlike, I would say, America, where they call it a melting pot, where everyone becomes one, Canada allows it to be more of a mosaic. It allows you to maintain your individuality. In Toronto, where I live, we have two Chinatowns. We have Greek town, we have Portuguese area, we have a place for India, we have place for Pakistan, we have place for Jamaicans. So they're all little neighborhoods where your parents, your grandparents can be still with their group of friends. Outside of that, if you want to move to the center of Toronto, this is more of a financial district where you get to be with financial people. So I have not encountered as much, I would say, anti-immigration rhetoric like I've seen in the US or in other countries. Canada is very welcome to immigrants. Last year, or about 2 years ago, Canada has welcomed over 1 million immigrants. Right now, we're slowing it down because we want to build enough housing to house every new family, but Canada is very welcoming to immigrants, and Canada depends on immigrants. We're a very small country when it comes to population, only 40 million people, the size of in US of California, yet we're the second largest by the land mass. So we don't have enough people. We have a lot of land, so we need more people in Canada. Government of Canada has a goal. Currently, we're at 40 million, but the goal is to grow to 100 million people. So we need you to come to Canada.
Understood. Very good. Now, if someone is interested and would like to get more information, but more importantly, start the process, what do you think? How would they prepare themselves, and how fast should they do that if they have to go, for example, to be there in 1 year? You mentioned before that it depends a little bit on the nationality and where they apply from, but maybe a little bit more information when it comes to someone is ready today. How fast can they be expected to be in Canada?
Sure. Number one, send in a request. Give us as much of the biography. I won't say us, send it to Passport Legacy. They're the first point of contact. We don't handle immigration. We don't handle your planning of where you should be going. We only handle once you have your case for started visa in Canada. So send to Passport Legacy your information. Include what you would like to have as your timeline. I'm dealing with a lot of Nigerian families where they say, well, we want to be in Canada in 3 years because I still have a good business that I need to run here. I'm dealing with a lot of people in Russia that are saying, I want to be in Canada yesterday because I want to make sure that I'm safe in a great environment that is supportive of Russians and Ukrainians and others. In Canada, Russians and Ukrainians are intermingled and they live together. There is no fighting between them in Canada. So for those of them that are tired of fighting, come to Canada. So step number one, send your information in, outline what you would like to do. Then we will put in a strategy together. Is where you are living today compatible with your timing goal? So meaning, if you are today located in India, but you could be traveling to England because you also have access to England. So should you be applying from India? Should you be applying from Dubai or from England? So that could matter in your timing. Let us do the strategy for you to make sure we can optimize it for your timing. In some cases, people have kids that are 16-year-olds turning 17. They're starting to look up at universities. Again, we will look at the timing and we'll structure it for you to match your timeline. Should you be in Canada on a work permit waiting for your permanent residency, or should you be waiting in your country until you get to that permanent residency?
Very understood. Thank you very much, Slava. In your opinion, how will the program be looking like in 5 or 10 years from now?
That is a scary outlook.
Yeah.
I can't really even tell you how it's going to look like 6 months from now. And because of that, for everyone on this call, apply early. And here's the reason why. Canada has had previously 2 other similar programs. We had a Quebec investment program, lasted for a very long time. Lots of immigration companies around the world started by selling that pathway. It was shut down because government of Canada got way too many applicants. And in fact, it was shut down for close to 5 years until it was recently reopened for those people that can invest over $1 million that have additionally $2 million, and that speak French on the level of 7. Not too many of our clients qualify for that. Most of them speak English. Most of them are level 5 out of 10. Then we had Immigrant Invest program also that asked clients to invest over $1 million, and also it was shut down after certain amount of years because it was overprescribed. Way too many people have applied for it. Then Government of Canada rolled out in 2013, started visa program. We are over 10 years. Recently, they made a change. The change was positive to make sure only the strongest of the businesses entered into this stream. So I don't anticipate changes again because the change just happened on April 29th of 2024, exactly a year ago. We have a brand new government. They are pro-business. They said they want to open up more incentives for businesses to bring more people in here. So I will give you 6 months to a year outlook. Number one, apply early. The program exists. We have inventory spots available because only 1,000 clients can pass through that pathway per year. Number two, don't wait 2-3 years because we don't know truly what's going to happen with the program. But one thing we know for sure, anytime the Government of Canada has shut down or paused the program, they did not throw away the previous applicants. They still process them. It took them 3 to 4 to 5 years to process everyone in the backlog for Quebec Investment Program, even though the program was shut down. So people were still getting approvals 3-4 years later. So apply early. Don't wait until there's more changes to this program.
I think we learned a lot today, guys. If there are more questions that come up, please put them in the comments and we will be very happy to answer them together with Slava. If you're interested and wish to know more about the program in general and how to start it, send us an inquiry and we'll be very, very happy to assist you with that. Slava, thank you so much for your time today. Hope to see you very soon.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.